Hello, friends. Well, it is early in the morning, but we are expecting the crew back any time now. Tuesday, they did all this in one day. There were about, I think, 7 guys, maybe six Amish workers, and then their driver. This looks so much bigger than it actually is because of these, I think they're called flying buttresses, if I remember from my old days of history classes, just to help support while the posts are secured in there. And I know we talked about what color the building was going to be. Our house is very traditional looking Cape Cod that's all white. And you know, we've had so many decisions with the house that we built. It was just finished. In October, and here we are in just April. You know, they talk about selection fatigue, and I'll tell you what, it's a real thing. This one, the color of the barn, well, I've known what color I wanted it to be. And the color is here. But I'll tell you, when the time comes to actually do it, you know, you always have those little moments of, my goodness, I made the right choice. The building is 32 by 40. And I know every time we would come out here after the gravel was put down and we kind of staked it out, it didn't feel terribly large until it's up. And then suddenly, especially with those ports on the outside, it feels huge. The pitch of the roof is an 8-12. We have 12-foot high sidewalls. There's no windows on the back wall. There are a couple of long, 4-foot long, narrow windows on this back wall. That's the north-facing wall. We have 2, standard, and I say standard, I don't know exactly what the size is, windows that will be on this wall. And I envision maybe window boxes or something underneath them filled with red geraniums. The doorway here, the big barn door, there'll be 2 doors that open in the center and slide out both ways. And they're going to build that door here on site. It's going to be a wooden door. We'll have another window right here, and then a man door. So, yeah. I know I haven't said the color, and I'm wondering, this is the chance now, guys. Post below, what was your guess? They have wrapped the posts that are in the ground with this material and like tarred it on to help to weatherproof. Yeah. Am I nervous about the color going on? Of course. I just, like with every decision we made with the house, anxiety, decisions. Did I do the right thing? Is it becoming to the house? Oh. So yeah, it's a 8-12 pitch, 32 by 40 pole barn. I think the look is gorgeous. We have a 1-foot overhang all the way around. Got the garage door open, and we'll see. See you guys in a little bit as the crew gets started. It was so windy yesterday. They weren't able to work. I could imagine they would have been holding on to those long metal pieces and taking off like a sail, so. We're getting there. It's amazing, absolutely amazing that they could have had that much done in one day. Just incredible. It's no wonder people are building barn dominiums now as their homes. Totally get it. All right, we'll be back soon. Okay, everybody. Well, we're ready for the big reveal. So it was so much fun to see what everybody's idea of the color was. Because the black barn was actually the least voted for. You notice the frames on 3 of the windows and the door are still white, but those will also be painted in a color to match the barn color. And there is a little hint for that too. They say not to paint the frames on the windows actual black because there's something in that color that really absorbs the heat. And we had a wonderful gentleman at the Sherwin-Williams paint store who advised us of a midnight blue that looks completely jet black when the second coat of paint is on it. So the doors will be stained in a honey color stain, and we have what we're going to use for the handles, so we'll show that later. The roof and the building are both black, but because of the material that we had them use, it is a textured black, and so it does not have that that shine that you sometimes see on the pole barns. It was so muddy while they were working, so the building does have some dirty spots on it at the moment, but I know my husband is going to be all over that to get that all cleaned up. The gutters have not been put on it yet. So the side walls, if I hadn't said earlier, I don't remember, the side walls where the door is, and then this back wall. These are 12 foot high. He did already get these painted before they were installed. We do have the snow rake across the top, but even though that does read gray on the roof, it is actually the exact same color as the barn itself. So I had kind of kept our first shed on the property out of the pictures before, because I thought if I had shown that very dark paint that we used on that building, that would have given it away of what our color is. So when Jim and I met, I remember him telling me at one time that something that he would love to have had was a barn that had the old mail pouch tobacco sign painted on it. And so even though we kind of hesitated a little bit and just kind of kept second guessing ourselves, because this is just not the kind of a color that you very often see here in our part of Ohio. It is so it's sort of a very modern look, and yet knowing history, and I love architecture the way that I do, I also know that it is also extremely traditional. The old barns, especially in Kentucky, the tobacco barns were done in this very, very dark black color. A lot of the fences and barns were, and houses even, salt boxes in New England, were coated with a creosote, which would be that jet black color. I'll tell you a quick little story. When we had a salt box many, many, many years ago, and it had been painted by a previous owner in like a really tannish, kind of a taupey color in order to sell it. And it was time that house needed to be that dark chocolate brown black. And I remember showing the painters the sample color on a back wall, and they said, well, we're gonna need to talk to your husband. I don't remember quite how I said it, but let's just say they were not the painters for that house. So one of the reasons why we went with the 12-foot sidewalls was in order to have the transom window above. That was just a design detail that was very important to me. This wall does face south, and so it will allow us to get a lot of light into the building through that area, which was why we had to go with the 12-foot walls. My husband wanted the 9-foot high doors. I think they're 9 foot by 10 feet wide, if I am not mistaken. And so that was the reason why we had to go taller. And it was also important to me that the building not just look like another garage. I did not want it to look like another garage separate from the garage with the cape. And so, yeah, we went, what's the saying? Go bold or go home. There's another really interesting little story that I've heard recently about why barns, particularly in Kentucky, were painted black, and why there are so many of them in the South painted black. Of course, one reason is for the tobacco barns, in order to help to heat the building up and dry the tobacco. But there's another kind of a historic reason why they are, and that is because when the moonshine was being processed in the stills during Prohibition. There was a particular gas or chemical that was put off by the process, and the law would look for the buildings, the barns that had that black, I don't know if it was a mold or something, but there was something that was caused the buildings to be black from the processing of alcohol during Prohibition. And so the townspeople would all paint their buildings black as well, their barns, in order to help hide their source, which I thought was just such a charming story of community, kind of helping to protect their own and themselves as well. So yeah, so it has its certainly roots in tradition, but also has sort of a modern feel, and it will definitely look different once we get those my husband, once he gets those frames painted in that blackish color as well. So now this area here is still a work in progress. I'll just do a quick little update here. We did these metal steel pieces for around this stone patio area. These are 3, there will be 4. We needed to get, I don't know what happened to one of the boards we had, but there will be 4 raised beds that will be going into this part of the yard right here. And then where these little posts are right now, we will be building some sort of a picket fence in that area. There's a picket right there. We picked up today just to sort of get a look for what that height would look like. There will be an opening, if all goes as planned, that will be right here in the center with a arch over the top of it, and another arch that will be here in the center looking out towards the field where the flowers are planted. So I just love the look of that barn from back here, again going with that 12-foot sidewall. You can't see the barn from straight on looking at the house. It is kind of tucked away, and that was all of our intention as well. So this was just it's going to be such a fun backdrop for planting, for perennials. I'm not 100% sure on the lighting, if this is going to work or not, but we will see. I really envision even having perhaps an espalier tree, if not 3 of them, perhaps even just one of them there in the center between those 2 windows. I'm already on the hunt for several of the big wine or whiskey barrels to set here in the front, and yeah, so looking forward to putting the fun decorating touches on our barn. And I'll put up the votes of what we had. I think the black for the barn was actually the very, very lowest. Very lowest. But that's sort of kind of how I roll. Not necessarily 1,000 times over with the traditional of the red barn. I thought that would just be, I don't want to say garish, but it was just going to be too much of a immediate thing that you look at. And even though it is a big black barn, If you are a rug hooker, maybe an artist as well, we were always taught that jet black pulls your eye away a little bit. It just sort of recedes into the background, and that was really an important thing here for the property and for the farm and for the barn. I could not possibly love it more than I do. We are gonna get the mutton bars for the windows. There are the windows on the back side of the barn on the inside as well. And the transom window kind of reflects how we have the transom window there on the back side of the house. And then there is one over the front door as well. So tell me in the comments, what do you think? I know it's not what you expected, but like I said, I could not love it more. It is absolutely, exactly, it's better than I had envisioned it. So I'm looking forward to hearing what your thoughts are. And I think I said the doors will be stained sort of a honey color. And then there'll be large black metal handles that will be attached there. So yeah, hope you guys are having a great day. This was a lot of fun, kind of wondering what all your thoughts were going to be on this one. And every time the black got lower on the pole, I just chuckled more and more. So all right, take care everybody, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.